All right, so Matt, the other day I bought a car from friends, and I noticed that it was always stuck in second gear. And I mean, this has not been my day, my week, my month, or even my year.
Oh my God. I knew we were headed this direction. I just couldn't get there fast enough.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Graveyard. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Adam.
And my name's Matt.
Now, pull up a tombstone or settle into your casket and get comfortable, because this is Graveyard Tales. All right, everybody, here we are again, and we want to thank you guys for sticking through the dark week with us, and technically we're supposed to be dark this week too. It's one of those times where we have 2 dark weeks in a row, and they just fall that way sometimes, but Matt and I don't like being dark for that long.
Right.
We don't like not getting new stuff out to you guys, so we're doing a bonus episode for you guys this week. It's not going to be that long, and it's going to be more like our Patreon episodes, where Matt has done the research on this, and he's going to teach me along with teaching you guys about this topic. So, Matt, why don't you take it away and tell us, what are we talking about tonight, brother?
Okay, so tonight, Adam and I are going to venture to a place where I can't recall that we've ever talked about before. We're going to talk about a place in Alaska.
Yep, we have not been there yet.
And, you don't really think about haunted places when you talk about Alaska.
That's true.
But apparently, there's more than a few. And I picked one that looked like it was fun. There wasn't just a ton of information, so I thought, well, this will make a good bonus show, and we're going to be talking about, or I'm going to be talking about, the Red Onion Saloon in Skagway, Alaska, and I've heard it Skagway, so I'm probably going to wind up saying it both ways.
You know what he means.
You can correct me later.
Yeah, you know what he means. Red onion sounds tasty, though. I
know. What a funny name.
Yeah, but it sounds like one of those like saloons or bars that you would go to, and every dish would have red onions in it, like in one way or another. They invented the bloomin' onion, and then the Outback stole it or something.
I can't imagine what a bloomin' onion made with a red onion would be like. It would probably be pretty good. It'd be strong.
Yeah, it'd be sharp. That's for sure.
Yeah. So the Red Onion Saloon, as I said, it's in Skagway, Alaska, and it was founded during the Klondike Gold Rush in 1898.
Been around a while.
Now, just like Adam does, I'm going to give you a little bit of the history of this place. But this history is fun. I loved these stories. Now, the building was erected a year earlier in 1897, and it sat on the corner of 6th and State Street. However, the current Red Onion is located at 2nd and Broadway in the same building. So how do you manage that?
They must have spun the city around. Spun it like a top.
Close. Well, the building was actually lifted up and put on huge logs to serve as rollers.
Oh, wow.
And local men surrounded the structure and literally rolled it down the road to its current location under the power of one horse.
Man, Alaskans are tough, dude.
I'm telling you. And apparently Alaskan horses are too.
Yeah.
That's a pretty amazing feat. When you think about it, it's
hooves,
not a huge
Matt.
building.
Amazing hooves, not feet. Horse have hooves.
Yeah, I stand corrected. But I mean, it's not a huge building, but it's still a building.
Yeah.
It's not like a shack.
Right.
I mean, they got it like the 4 blocks or however far it had to go to get to its new location. Now, when they were done, the men were tired and they decided to walk into the newly relocated bar and have a drink. And when they entered from the front side of the street, they realized they were actually walking in through the back of the building.
Oh, crap.
So, but, not to be outdone, it's like rolling a building down the street is one thing, but spinning one 180 degrees is something totally different.
Yeah.
So what they did was they just went out, they cut the front off of the front of the building, they cut the back off the back of the building and swapped them.
That's great.
And you had nailed them back into place, and you can actually still see the cut lines in the floor about 2 feet in to the door.
That's great. I love that. Man.
I mean, these are people up there for the gold rush, man. What else are they going to do?
Yep.
Well, forget it. We'll just cut the front off of the back of the building. We'll just spin it around.
This has to be probably one of the best histories of any building we've talked about.
I was like, when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, that is great.
Yep, that's fantastic.
That is great. Oh, so the Red Onion was a real hot spot for Skagway in 1898, which was rumored to have a population of 15,000 men and 300 prostitutes.
Oh, good odds, I guess.
So not only was the Red Onion a saloon, it was also a very well-known brothel.
Yeah.
So, the Red Onion had 10 upstairs rooms where the male customers and the ladies could go and they could play cards.
Right. Okay. Right.
And so behind the bar,
do their taxes.
Yes. You can get your taxes done.
Yeah.
Behind the bar were 10 dolls representing each one of the ladies. And so the dolls would have matching eye color, matching hair color, even matching dresses. So when one of the ladies was busy playing cards, the bartender would lay her doll down flat, letting the other customers know that she was busy in a game. Now, meanwhile, upstairs, the gentleman would pay the ladies with a $5 gold piece for a 15-minute
tax
card
session.
game. Yeah. The lady would stash the gold coin and would begin the game. Poker was most likely the game of choice.
Sure.
When they were finished playing, family show, the lady would drop the coin into a hole in the floor that was connected to a copper pipe, and the coin would rattle down the pipe and land in a safe behind the bar. Now, hearing the coin, the bartender would know which pipe it was coming from and turn and set that lady's doll back upright so that the rest of the customers knew that she was available for another game.
Man, that guy he's got too much knowledge about the inner workings of pipe tuning. Like, I can tell that one's a C flat. That is Samantha's pipe. I
thought, man, this is 1898.
Yeah.
And they rigged up that kind of system.
Yep.
I mean,
crazy.
I would have just been like, well, when you come downstairs, I'll know you're available.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that wasn't the way it worked. But I was like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was how things worked. Now, the Red Onion actually served as a saloon and a brothel for only 2 years. But the original building still stands, and during World War II, the building was used as barracks to board soldiers, and then in subsequent years, it housed a laundry, a bakery, a union hall, a television station, and a gift shop. Now, in 1980, the owner of the building, Jan Rentmore, purchased a liquor license, and the building opened once more as a restaurant and a brothel museum. So you can go and take the tour. In fact, you can go on YouTube and you can actually find videos of the tour. And that's cool. Where I got a lot of this interesting history was from the videos of the tour. And I've got that link, in our sources in the show notes. So you can go watch it. It's very, very entertaining. With such a cool history for, what essentially was, the hottest bar and brothel in a little gold mining town.
Right.
So now it doesn't have the bloody, scary, crazy history like so many of the places that Adam and I talk about to where when you hear the history, you go, why? No wonder that place is haunted.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It just doesn't have that. But that doesn't mean that whiskey and rum are the only spirits you're going to find there.
But
now, yeah, you like that? I don't write jokes, but I wrote that one in last night. So
you did good, man.
Now, one of the most recognizable ghosts in the Red Onion Saloon is that of Lydia. Now, Lydia was one of the prostitutes of the former brothel. And, they say that over the years, her presence has become pretty well known. There have been various reports of footsteps heard on the second floor where the brothel was. And there's the strong smell of perfume lingering in the air. And there are cold spots where the perfume tends to originate from. Now, there's one story where there was a big ruckus upstairs, so much so that the owners called the police.
Oh, geez.
And so when the police got there, they went upstairs, or they started to go upstairs, and they saw a figure running down the hall and into a room which was the once former madam's quarters. Now, when the police got there and inspected the room, it was empty and there was nowhere for an intruder to go. And so it was assumed that this was the ghost of Lydia.
Right.
Now, Lydia is also said to water the plants, where they have seen a full-on apparition waving her arm back and forth like she's watering plants with a watering can.
That's cool.
And there have been many occasions when the hostess of the house would find dampened soil, as if somebody had watered it recently.
Oh, wow.
Now, like I said, Lydia has been seen many times in a full-on apparition, which, if you've listened to this show, that's pretty rare.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you're either seeing, just, a shadow or a mist with some features, or you see a face. Rarely do you see a full body apparition, or you hear reports of that. But it's also said that she can be a little bit hostile towards some of the men. Maybe this is a throwback from, how she was treated back in the late 1800s.
Right. I was going to say, not to interrupt you, but I was going to say that you were talking about it doesn't have the violent history that a lot of the places do, but brothels then weren't, they weren't as well kept and everything as,
right.
Nowadays where, women were treated respectfully and all that stuff. So I'm sure there was a lot of anger and that type of, it wasn't bloody, but it was a lot of tension and maybe malice that soaked into those walls just from, the dudes were jerks and didn't treat them right. So the madam being bitter to men makes sense if she's trying to protect her ladies and stuff like
That's
that.
Right.
That's
right. And you got to consider, all these people that loaded up for the gold rush, they were looking to make a fortune.
Sure.
This was their ticket to wealth and easy living. And it didn't work out that way for the majority of them.
Right.
A lot of them had left families. Some of them were, they were on the run from whatever trouble they had, and this made sense. Nobody's going to go this far to look for me. And you get away, and maybe you find some gold, and you just start over somewhere. So you didn't necessarily attract the best characters. And you get somebody that's had a rough go of it, hadn't really made a lot, and they're sitting down there having a few drinks. They're drowning their sorrows, and maybe they get a little rough, and that's not unheard of. And
right.
Security for females wasn't what it is now in 1898. So yeah, you're right, Adam. I mean, there could have been a lot of emotion there, a lot of anger and despair and sorrow because things just weren't working out. And, a building like this could absorb it. I mean, we're talking about a building that's over 100 years old. I mean, the age of the building itself would lend it to something like this happening. But Lydia's not the only one there. They say there's also a malevolent male spirit there that doesn't really seem to be friendly with anyone, often roughly brushing past staff and guests and moving objects that staff need to do their jobs, such as hiding keys or taking expensive drinks. The staff has also reported objects flying off the back of the bar. Now, that's kind of dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you get shot glasses shooting out or beer mugs flying off of the back of the bar. So whoever this character is, he's obviously somebody that in life wasn't too nice, and so his spirit isn't either. Some visitors have reported seeing an apparition appear in the display of the madam's dresses, and you can see a lot of photos of this place when you look online. And there is a display of 2 or 3 of the madam's dresses, and there's an old, period style light fixture behind them. And what they say is that light fixture will flicker on and off randomly, and it will shake back and forth. But there have been witnesses that say that they can actually see an apparition of a woman as if she's wearing one of the dresses that's on display.
Oh, wild.
Yeah, so, that's pretty interesting. There's the dress, and then all of a sudden this female form, kind of appears with the dress as if she's wearing it.
Just kind of appears inside of it. That's wild.
Yeah, but they say that probably the most active spirit that's in the Red Onion is that to be the spirit of Diamond Lil Davenport, who was one of the former madams, and she continues to linger around the establishment, keeping an eye on the guests and, of course, her ladies. And she's only known to make herself known to male guests. Now, some of the male visitors have said they've felt someone running their hands along their legs or whispering in their ear. So,
that's weird.
We've had a few places that have these overly friendly female spirits that they get a little touchy-feely with the male guests, and this is no exception.
Right.
So old Diamond Lil, if you visit the Red Door Saloon and you're a guy, she may give you a little rub, whisper some sweet nothings in your ear. Probably something along the lines of "Pay up, sucker."
Yeah, right. I mean, it would be probably one of the cooler, like, I guess, experiences you could have with an apparition, but it would also be, quite freaky at the same time because you're actually being touched. And,
right.
It would be cool to say that you were touched by some ghost, but then again, it would probably freak you the hell out just because you don't really think about them touching you much,
Yeah. Now, interesting thing about Diamond Lil, she was, she was a real person. This wasn't, we're not sure. No, she was a real person. and she made a pretty good living as one of the madams up there. They said that she had all this jewelry and diamonds, and even had a diamond wedged between the space in her 2 front teeth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so she was quite a character. They said that, a madam didn't play cards with any of the male visitors.
Mm-hmm.
She just managed the ladies,
right,
and the business aspect of it. But for the right amount of money, you could play a round of poker with old Diamond Lil, and it was $100 a night.
That's a lot for the 1800s.
It would be estimated to be $10,000.
Wow.
Today.
Wow.
10 grand.
Wow.
I mean,
and you got old Diamond Face. That's cool.
Now, and it was said that before she would even meet with a male guest, they had to produce like a bank statement, like a job reference,
mm-hmm,
all this kind of stuff before she would even consider talking to them
to prove they had the money.
I guess so.
Yeah,
I guess so. So she was a pretty interesting character. The story went on that she did what they said was the one thing that in that line of work you can't do, and that's fall in love.
Oh yeah.
And some gentleman wooed her away and then took her for everything she had.
Oh no.
And wound up she wound up in Seattle scrubbing floors at a bank.
God.
And the story from the tour video was that a reporter recognized her and asked her for a quote for the local paper.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, I may be on my knees, but at least now it's in a respectful occupation.
Oh, geez.
She still, as the tour guide said, you still had a sense of humor about the whole thing. But interesting characters tend to make interesting ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's obviously what the Red Onion Saloon has. And, I just, when I came across this story, I was looking for something just kind of out of the ordinary, and I found this place. I was like, well, let me look a little bit. And I thought, yeah, there's not enough information for us to dig deep and do a full-blown episode. But what we had, I thought, was so much fun and entertaining that we just had to share it.
Oh, yeah, that was cool. Great history of that building, man. I love that. The moving it and then just hacking it in pieces and putting it back together. I love that.
Yeah, and the whole idea that they had rigged up a system where they could drop those coins down
mm-hmm.
the floor, and the bartender would know, who's ready, based on where the coin came from.
Yeah, that's wild. But
pretty interesting.
I don't know if we have many Alaskan listeners, but if you're listening in Alaska, then let us know. That's, we've never said, hey, if you're from Alaska, let us know until now. But it's like Matt said, we haven't done anything in Alaska. So it's cool to finally have something there.
Yeah. And in researching this place, I learned that Alaska has a haunted history, a pretty in-depth one.
Yep.
So
we could do some stuff.
Yeah, this may not be the last time that we touch on a place in Alaska. I've never been to Alaska. I feel like I say that all the time. I've never been. I hadn't been a lot of places. I guess I'm not well traveled.
Yeah,
so.
You're not as worldly as you thought.
Yeah, but I haven't. I definitely have never been to Alaska. But I've always thought that it would be an interesting place to visit. I remember watching the show Northern Exposure. You remember that? Yeah. And I always thought, man, Alaska seems like a really cool place to be.
Yeah. I've wanted to go for a while, but I'm going to have to make a trip up there sometime.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, definitely. If you're from there, if you have a cool story of a haunted place in Alaska, let us know. It may even be something that we could look into for another show on Haunted Alaska. But our Facebook group is a great place to do that. And we do mention this just about on every show. It's full of great people. There's a lot of activity every single day. This is not going to be one of those groups you sit there and you forget that you even belong to it because you never see any posts from it. I mean, there are people posting stuff. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of, jokes there, but there's a lot of discussions, and we've even had people post paranormal problems that they're having. And, a lot of our graveyard members have stepped up to the plate to help them, to make suggestions, recommendations on what they ought to do. Everything from that. I've seen from, hey, get you some sage and bless the house, purify it, do some other things, to, hey, I think you might need to call a priest.
Yeah. Right. Move.
Move. If it all else fails, move. But jump in that group and let us know. And so while you're there, you can get on our website. It's graveyardpodcast.com. And on our website, you can listen to the show. You can find links to buy Graveyard Tales merchandise. And now's a great time to grab that summer t-shirt or that travel mug for the road trip you've been dying to take, and promote your favorite podcast or maybe even just promote ours.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great.
But you can also become a patron, and Adam and I are in the graveyard tonight recording new Patreon content. And we like to thank everyone that donates to the show.
Yes.
It really, really helps keep us going. It keeps, we don't have to run ads, 10 minutes worth of ads every show.
Right.
And we can keep it as with the sponsors that we've got. So it really makes the content better for you guys. So thank you so much. I think that about wraps it up for this bonus show.
Yes, sir.
What about you? You got anything else?
No, I got nothing else. Just like you said, thank you to everybody who has supported us and to everybody who continues to support us. It means the world to us. We couldn't keep doing it without you guys.
Yep. So thank you for joining us on this supposed to be dark week. And until next time, we'll save you a seat in the graveyard.
See you soon.
A story loved by many. A story ended too soon. A story with no ending. But we heard you. You asked. And now we deliver.
David, please stop. Just stop.
I have to die in order for our daughter to be born. Just when did you plan on telling me this?
Do you want to explain why it's taken so long to kill one little girl?
What are you saying?
The Queen. She's launching an attack. She's coming for you, Amber.
David?
Sam! Now!
Guys, are you seeing this?
Yeah, it's Shadow Men. A bunch of them.
I must go, David. There can be only one.
This war has already started, but I am not the one who started it. Now get out of my house!
Amber launches an energy ball at Dwarf.
Do it now.